Hey friends, it's your pal Mike Shea here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy GM Prep. In this show, I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday role-playing game. In this case, I am running a campaign set in the Dragon Empire region of Midgard. Midgard is a campaign setting by Kobold Press, and we are running the system Tales of the Valiant by Kobold Press. This is their house take on 5th edition rules. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. Patrons get access to all kinds of tips, tricks, tools, a dedicated podcast called Readings and Reflections, our awesome Discord server where we talk about RPGs nonstop, all day, all night long. And most importantly, when you become a patron of Sly Flourish, you help support this show and all the other shows and all the other work that I do. To the patrons of Sly Flourish, thank you so much for your outstanding support. Good news, we have a strong start today. They went into the big final chamber of it. I should have built a nice Dwarven Forge setup for it. I didn't, and I'm not going to have time to, so that's unfortunate. Here's the interesting thing about Dwarven Forge, fancy 3D terrain Dwarven Forge setups, which I think back and I wish, yesterday evening I had time that I wasted doing one thing and I could have been doing that. People appreciate it when you have it. They don't miss it if you don't. If you did it every time, people would miss it. But if you just use a normal, like I'm going to draw it out, right? I'm going to draw it out on my Chessex mat with a marker. People won't be upset that there wasn't Dwarven Forge, right? They will instead be like, oh, that's cool. But it's kind of an added thing, right? It's a nice added thing. It makes, does it add fun? Yes. I think I did some actual happiness kind of polls, and it's like 10 to 20% higher, right? If you've got it. It's not, but it takes time to set up and obviously costs and everything else. So I wouldn't get bent out of shape about not having it, but I have it. And I wish I had spent time. Now they think, and it didn't even occur to me until just now that I should have done it. Anyway, I know where they're going to be. They're going to be in a great big room. The room has these big bladed pillars. I could actually go grab some Dwarven Forge pillars and just throw those on the mat. So maybe I'll do that. That's fast and easy to do. And they found these large mechanical fiendish spiders that are etching fiendish tattoos upon people to turn them into red hand, members of the Red Hand Army. And there is an archmage there who is she is leading she's a member of the Sanguine Path, and she is a mage of Kanesh, a blood mage of Kanesh. So it'd be kind of fun to add some blood mage kind of techniques to her, some things that they could do that would be sort of fun. We'll have to maybe we'll add some tags onto our archmage in order to make her a blood mage, and our blood archmage of Kanesh would be really cool. So today we are going to start with a great big battle, and then they are going to there's going to be some. I already have some good ideas about where things are going to go, and in fact we'll switch over to Obsidian right now and get that stuff in mind. So I'm going to create a new note in my Obsidian templates. I'm using Obsidian to do my game prep. If you want to learn more about Obsidian, you can find a link in the show notes. I have a Dragon Empire template that I use, and we will pull up last session's game too. So I have those handy. And I asked the characters what they want to do next. And so I know that the next stage is smuggling the son of the Urmanli of Vashadar to Nuria Natal. So I've got some good scenes. So the strong start is the Archmage of Blood. We'll get into what that is, but I already know that scene. Then probably recruiting the Children of Mott, return to 440 Fingers, meeting the Urmanli and his son, beginning the journey to Nuria Natal. There's some important details in here that we need to fill out, but I think that one of my little head tricks is if I know the scenes, if I know that there are scenes that are going to take place, and in a 3-hour game, which includes lunch, if I have 5 scenes, I know I have enough scenes, and this feels like this is going to be enough right here. Am I done with my prep? Not exactly, but I have a frame, right? I've got a good frame of what my game is going to be like today, and that's pretty much exactly what we're looking at here. So that's great. Character-wise, Emmert will not be there, but everybody else will be. So, is our rogue, has seen So I need a name for the Ermanli, and I think I had named them previously. We're going to search. Here we go. Here are some names, right? So, yeah, this was, God, when was this? This is October. No, it was further back than that. Yeah, this is back in October when I was building this out and I thought they might do this. I did that. So luckily, it's nice to be able to search your old notes. And note, I'm going to drop them right into notable NPCs. What kind of dragon is Parsis the Hidden? Let's drop over to our monster book here. And let's look at dragons. Black, blue, brass, bronze. What's the difference between a brass and a bronze? Who's more powerful? Brass dragon. Ancient brass is 17. Ancient bronze is 19. So bronzes, and how about copper? 18 for a copper. So we could have Parsis be a bronze dragon, an ancient bronze dragon. I think that'd be okay. Go back to our prep here. So Baelith Mooncowl. It might be kind of interesting if Mooncowl was a silver dragon. No. So Baelith Mooncowl, who's posing as a silver dragonbane, or a dragonborn, but is actually Parsis in an ancient bronze dragon. And his son is Wevenir. I'm going to change the name because Wevenir Mooncowl. A silver half-dragon, half-dragonborn, half-elf. Parsis silver half-dragon, half-elf son of Baelith, who's a secret son of Parsis the Hidden. So those are cool ones. So let's see. Has seen Baelith before in Ashadar. I'm going to assume Amavin's been around to Ashadar. There's something familiar about him. So Cal the Druid, with the destruction of the infernal machine, what's it called? The Red Path? What was the name of the... Oh, whoops. Here we go. The Red Road may begin to repair itself. Gaudenzia is one of the two rangers, Gnome Ranger, knows the children of Mott in the Gizmiri would make formidable spies, hunters, and assassins against and his support. Mateo, the infernal machine, is built from hellish magic. Rowan is our fighter. The children of Mott would make a fantastic, what is it called? Like an asymmetric, army. Few would know what hit them. Tolstoy, the politics of the underworld is as diverse as that of Midgard. Many factions, many drives, and lots of bloodshed. The Drylands is where Mott operates, but so do other entities. That's pretty good. I'd only moved that secret over because I wanted those names, but I've got those names now. So meeting, and now I can put the actual names in here. Baelith and Wevenir. That's good. So I still got my scene straight forward. One of the things we're going to do today is talk a little bit about the point crawl between 440 Fingers and Nuri Natal. We'll have to kind of outline that a little bit. So secrets and clues. Are there any secrets and clues regarding... So if the game is starting with their the Archmage of Blood and the Infernal Machine is the big fight that they're in, right? Because they crawled through the whole dungeon and they broke into the last room right at the beginning of the session. So we got a nice big fight right there, and it's going to be a doozy. So that could be an hour. That could be an hour right there, right? I mean, we've got 6 10th level characters against a big force. That's going to be big. Are there any other secrets and clues? Well, let's go through the secrets from last time and see if there's anything in here that we think we can pass forward. Kandahirians, and what we'll do is we'll grab all of these things and we'll move them in and decide which ones we want to use and which ones not. Kandahirians and Maradi and Ishadarians have used the Red Road for battle magic in the Red Waste, and little is left of what was known as the Great River of the True Kings. I think they already know that, but I think we'll keep that because I did tie it to one of the characters, and the whole name of Great River of the True Kings matters. The Blood Mages siphon the last remaining energy of the Red Road. We don't need that. They did that. Blood magic is outlawed almost everywhere, including the Dragon Empire, yet some Moors that allow it. We already know that. Of the many cults that use blood magic, the best known might be the followers of the Sanguine Path, and among wizards, many follow the vile footsteps of Tagresh the Blood Purger. So these have been in my notes for a while, and I just don't think, I don't know. We'll keep them. The blood mages of Kanesh follow the blood maiden, known as the North as Marina, particularly sought. We learned that. Rituals under which the Red Hand are created turn them into bestial creatures, impervious to pain, filled with hunger for blood and violence and cannibalism. We did that. The infernal machine draws energy from the Red Road and infuses infernal glyphs on the bodies of humanoids, transforming them. We know that. Children of Mott follow Mott out of necessity and a drive to kill dragons and shatter the Empire. They know that. Children of Mott have several hidden dwellings and outposts in eastern Gizmiri. We know that. Adishah lives in the holy temple of Al-Ajak in the city of Sarkland. Only dragonkin, Ifrit, and other fiery creatures can survive the burning presence of Adishah. He hasn't left the temple for decades, but the Maradi fear the prophesied day when he will. I think we're going to cut... Yeah, we'll keep that one because I think that could tie in. That could tie into kind of next steps. So that's 4 secrets, but now we've got other secrets. So internal strife among the Morza has made the entire empire unstable. Losing wars and shrinking battle lines has caused internal strife. Well, let's see, I already said that. Puts tremendous pressure on the Morza and the Dread Sultan. So who is hunting? So why is Parsis smuggling his son out? Parsis is smuggling his son out of the Dragon Empire as insurance. He's not ready to leave himself, but doesn't want his legacy destroyed. But I think he's at war in particular with one other Morza. So we're going to go to Midgard. We're going to look at the Morza here, Dragon Empire. And I think I might have this in my notes, actually. Let's take a look. I think I made some, past Mike Shea, did some nice things. And then my campaign support, I have the Morza as their goals. Let's look at the faction list. So Glavistus the Scourge is a chaotic evil female adult flame dragon. Lash Marak is an adult fire dragon. Marad is the founder. Ruzgar, the dragon of fog and hungers. Cave dragon. Satara el Beldastani, a star drake, and Uraz Azah, a wind dragon, are the other 6. So which of those would be most likely at war with Parsis, right? Or starting to get wind of it. And I think it's going to matter because I think it's their forces that are going to go chase his son. It's not Adishah, probably. Legendary Dragonborn Paladin of Segatan, Climb the Sky. So here's one that became a dragon. Stani, Castilian of Harkish. We should also look at the regions. Let's go to our Midgard maps here. I think one of the layers, political boundaries. That's cool. So these kind of show who controls what, and including the dragons. So Ashadar in Batek is where Parsis the Hidden is. I should go to there we go. Riz. Yeah, I picked this because, so I think it might be one of the northern. So Marat rules over that. How about the Kurditam? Aldiri, Vistus. Whoops. Oh no, not too far out. Rumella's way out here. Go back to the top here. Where is Hariz? Yeah, so Hariz would make sense. So Lash Marak, let's see, Queen of Fury. And we've had Lash Marak, Lash Marak came up in another one. So the idea of so Lash Marak is adjacent to Batek. So it makes sense that, Lash Marak wants to take over the territory. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have Lash Marak Alsha is moving against Parsis. The other Morza fear her and likely won't act against her. She came out on top with the losses of the Western forces, which puts her at advantage in finances and power against the other Morza. Spies of Lash Marak learned that Balith and Wevenir are important to Parsis. They plan to kidnap Wevenir in order to get leverage against Parsis. Are there any other secrets about Lashmarak we wanted? A Queen of Fury, Marshal of Mayhem, Morza of Beloved Heriz, Defender of the Pact, Voice of Order. She has spent decades building an elite army of dragonkin, drakes, elementals, and humans, arming them with magic and the best equipment. Her forces are well-trained, fast, lean, and ferocious, but most of all, they are deadly and efficient, much like the Dragon Lord herself. I like that. We're going to steal that. Oh, let's see. Rules of the isolated Heriz territory on the borders of Beldistan and Kandahiria, and she is bent on expanding her territories in the Empire. So they are battle-tested. So Lashmarak spent decades building an army of elite dragonkin, drakes, elementals, and humans. Known, what are they known as? We got to give them a cool name. The Reapers of Bitek, right? The Reapers of Heriz, right? Because Heriz is where she's from, right? So that's pretty good. Let's see. Balith Mooncowl has contacts, has high-ranking contacts in Nuria Natal. And we want a particular city. So now we're going to look at our Nuria Natal geography here. Boop. And pick a city. The map is sideways. That's not super. Oh, you know what we can do? We don't need that. We can go right here. We've got the cities right there. What cities? Let's see. What I kind of want is there a trade route that goes across the Sarkland Desert? Yeah, the Malmet Road. Goods travel to Sual from Perbestet by way of the Malmet Road. Caravans resupply in the Free City before trekking across the Sarkland Desert. So there's the city of Nuria. There's a ley line there. That's cool. So Sual. Let's look at Sual. Some of these places I've been to, I've run stuff in because, here we go, City of Gardens. Oh, and there's the Malmet Road, yeah. So I think they probably want to go to Sual. And there's probably a couple paths they could take, including a road, but also a ley line if they wanted to. And that would be kind of a fun, I wonder what ley line that is. And I ran something in the necropolis of Sual before. I ran stuff here. In fact, one of the players, my camera's out of focus. There we go. Balith Mooncowl has high-ranking contacts in Nuria Natal, able to protect. So I think Balith wants the characters to use their smuggling operation to take Wevenir from 440 Fingers to Sual. How they get there is up to them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's plenty of secrets. So now we're going to get to some locations. And now I want to talk about paths, right? So we need some nodes. So we have 440 Fingers. Then how they get to, let's see, they've done this before. Where is 440 Fingers? 440 Fingers is right up here. So they have a few paths they can take. They can take 440 Fingers to Nerdarin along the Sunless Stream, which is a ley line. Then they can take Nerdarin to Kukatarma through a red portal. That they've done before. So those are two, that's one path they can take. Another path would be across the Gizmiri. So 440 Fingers to Kukatarma, if they don't want to mess with any ley lines and stuff. Then, so outside of Kukatarma, on the opposite side, so let's see, Kukatarma to the Gidigata Hill, to western Gidigata. Then they have a choice. Let's see. So it looks like Kukatarma has another ley line connection. Let's go to our Midgard book and let's look at ley lines and see if we can figure, this was always tricky. There's not a great ley line map. Yeah, see, it doesn't show the ley line that crosses the Sarkland Desert. Let's go to our Southlands book and do a search for ley line. None. This is one of those tricky bits where, like, you know, if there's a name for it, you'd like to know it, but sometimes there's just not. Here we go. Here's a list of, this is good, I think. So the ley lines, Angel's Road runs from Nuria across the Middle Sea to Ishida. I don't know which one that is. It's too bad they don't have a map of these. But let's read. Middle Sea, that's probably not. Noted for being a location where the Oasis of Figs can be found. Chained Way, Sar Shaba, down southward down through the Spice Coast through the Venom Jungle. No. Deep Lake of the same name. Webworks, blah, 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 blah. Demon's Walk begins in Nuria, then flows south over Black Lotus Mesa. I think that's this guy. Yeah, that's the Demon's Walk. So it's got an actual name tied to it. Endless Masana starts in Ragmiri. No. Yeah, so I don't think this guy's got a name. All right, we got Red Road out there, but I want this little path from Sewell. I need a name for that. So there's Angel's Road, Red Road, Void Path, Scholar's Path, but not that guy. Lotus Road, Demon's Way, Demon's Walk. But the one I need is not there, which is this little junction. I guess it's a connector. All right, so whatever, we're going to give it a name. What is a cool... So it's going through a desert region. So let's, for funsies, let's roll a 6-sided die to determine nice or villainous this road is. Is this a happy road? Is it a dark road? 1 will be a lighter, 6 will be darker. Oh, 1. So it's a pleasant road. So while the desert itself, perhaps this one is almost jungle-like, right? That would be kind of interesting, that you sort of have this like almost jungle-like. So what would that be? Like, the trail of a million lives. But what I need a kind of a fun, like what would, so these roads are named after what elves had created, right? So the elves gave this name, the trail. We'll call it a trail. And something about being like super filled, something about being lush, right? It's a lush trail. It's just completely, life is everywhere, right? Like where the desert, you have dead sands. This is sort of the opposite, where, you've got life going on here. Like the Greenway, yeah. I mean, something about having like layers of, the moss, the verdant byway. That's pretty good. I like that. Liara's Walk, the soft path. Man, names are hard, especially as like ley line names. The Flourishing Trail, yeah. I'm going to call it Liara's Walk. I don't have a good one. I'm making up a name of Liara, like an elven princess who had built gardens there, and then the gardens overgrew and overgrew and overgrew over time. And there's a touch of life going there. And Liara's Walk crosses over Kukatar, the Gizmiri, goes to where we had Sewell, right? So something kind of interesting is that Sewell is sort of the land of the dead. So it could be that the tail end of that could actually touch upon, there could be like, there's so much life, but also that life dies. And as that dies, it kind of goes to a mire, and the mire actually connects to the drylands. So there could be a drylands portal there too. Where's our map? So Western Gittagata to Sarkland by Sandskiff. So they have a few different paths that they can take, right? But their goal is to get to Sewell. 440 fingers to Sewell in Nuria Natal. And the potential paths they can take include 440 fingers to Nerdarin along the Sunless Stream Shadow Road, which they've done before, and then take the Nerdarin to Kukatarma through a red portal. They could also go from 440 fingers to Kukatarma across the Gizmiri. Then from Kukatarma, they can take, so I guess there's like, whatever path you take, you're ending up in Kukatarma, right? And there's a couple different ways to get to Kukatarma. Then when you're in Kukatarma, you can go to the Gittagata Hill, across the Gittagata Hills, or, so Kukatarma through Liara's Walk to Sewell would be one path, or Kukatarma to Western Gittagata, and then take the Sandskiffs to Sewell. And the goal is to get to Sewell. I think that's where we're going to go. We're not going to bother getting to all the way to Nuria Natal. I think by the time they get to Sewell, they'll be safe. So they can pick which path they want to take. There's a few different paths they can take, and we'll look at a map to kind of figure that out. And okay, so we've got that monster, and I doubt, like, between this and leveling up and other stuff, I don't know that they'll actually begin their journey. If they do, I'll hit some random encounters and we'll be fine. But they're not going the whole way there. And then next week I can plan like more. I'll have a better idea of what path they want to take, and then I can fill in the details of the path. But monsters. So now we still want to get back to the immediate thing, which is we got a big battle going on. So we'll do our lazy encounter benchmark. We have 6 10th level characters. That's a total of 60. So 30 CRs with no monster greater than 15. Is our benchmark, right? Rough benchmark. So monsters, we know we are going to have an Archmage. Let's see, I'll jump over to my Obsidian notes here. Blood Mage of Kanesh. The Archmage stat block, I might have in my previous week's notes. Let's take a look and see if I already did some of this. I have the Archmage, page 362. What would be some Archmage powers? So I did some sort of like Cone of Cold, only it's blood. Only it's necrotic energy. Probably Life Drain would be a good one. Eternal Bleeding, like you take a bunch of damage at the beginning of your turn, that would be pretty good. We have probably a couple of regular Blood Mages, 367. And then we have the Infernal Machine Spiders. Let's take a look at the Midgard, at the Monster Vault. And let's take a look at spiders. We have animals. I don't know if there are spiders that are really that threatening for this group. Yeah, these are all really low, right? So let's look at creatures by challenge rating. And what challenge rating am I looking for? Probably 4. I could use Chewel. Chewel would work pretty well. I could reskin a Chewel. The Lesser Voidlings might work. Let's take a look at the Lesser Voidlings because they're kind of scary. Lesser Voidlings are CR4s. They're considered aberrants. They have Shadow Tendrils, which pretty work. Yeah, they're not bad. We're going to use Lesser Voidlings and they have a charming glyph that they might be able to put on people. So I think that's pretty good. Let's see. So the Archmage, I don't have a CR on these guys. The Archmage is CR12. The Blood Mages are regular mage stat blocks. They are 6s. And these guys are CR4s. So it would make sense to have the Archmage and a couple of Blood Mages. That's 24 CRs. And then if I did 4 of these spiders, that's an additional 12. So that's 36. So that's higher than the benchmark by a little bit. But I think that will be okay. So I think we're going to have 4 Infernal Blood Machine Spiders, 2 Blood Mages, and the Archmage. And I think that'll be a good fight. I am not going to worry about anything else there. We'll look at the treasure from last time. I like this stuff. This is all pretty good. I don't think I gave any of this away. And they get a blood shard and some blood bolts. +2 blood bolts. Those are pretty good. And a headband of intellect. So there's plenty of treasure. This is their last treasure hoard of... Did I have some... I thought I spent some time and gave away some interesting blood magic spells. Oh yeah, here, Blood Puppet, Boiling Blood, Blood to Acid, Blood Offering, Bloodshot. All the things that have blood in them. I think they burned the book or they kept it. I don't know. Oh, I have it already. Okay. So that's pretty good. Do I have everything I need for today's game? I think so. I think I've got enough. So we are going to call it right there. Friends, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today while we prepped for my game. If you enjoyed this show and you want more stuff like this, please consider subscribing to the Sly Flourish newsletter. It is absolutely free to sign up. There is a link down in the show notes to sign up. You get a free adventure generator for signing up, and you get a weekly RPG article with links to all of the other work that I do. You can also pick up any of my books on the Sly Flourish bookstore. Links for that are in the show notes, including Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, The Lazy DM's Companion, Lazy DM's Workbook, Forge of Foes, City of Arches, and more. And you can become a Patreon supporter. Patrons get access to all kinds of tips and tricks and tools and another podcast and all kinds of stuff you get for being a patron of Sly Flourish. Please check that out. All the links for those in the show notes. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And get out there and play an RPG.